I've often made the mention that I don't mind if people learn the hard way, as long as they learn. And while that remains true, it's harder when it's yourself who's learning the hard way. Sometimes I have to get stuff done, so I do things. Sometimes I have to come back later and clean up the mess of whatever I did do. And this video's got some of that in it. But it's also just kind of a reminder for me and others, as much as you're able to, think ahead. I know that plans are always subject to change, and if they weren't, I would have been just fine doing what I did. But I came up with a better idea later. Because of the way I orchestrated a couple of things, it didn't work out the way I initially intended, and that's fine. And I think that I'm going to be able to move on from what I've been through and not really have lost much. It just took a lot more effort to do it this way. So that's what we're dealing with today. Well, with the warmer temperatures down here on our homestead, we've got some stuff going on.
So it should be under here.
Back it up and let me get in here.
I saw something move right there.
How big?
He was a small one.
Oh, there it is. DeKay's brown snake. Absolutely. So, second snake of the year on our homestead. This one is DeKay's brown snake. Warmer temperatures, the kids are finding all sorts of stuff. So I think we'll just kind of gather up a couple of things and kind of show some of them off. This is cool.
No, that's a cricket. Oh, there's one.
There's one. Little brown snake.
I should have let go of him. Oh, there he is. Got him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is it?
A brown skink.
Little brown skink?
He has a like blue tail.
Oh, beautiful.
He's white and then
Yellowish, kind of cream colored. Beautiful. Look at the size of that tail too. Never been broke. Let's keep it that way. Well, now that we're back, got a ton of stuff to be doing. I don't even really consider gardening to be a hobby. Consider it to be a necessity. One thing is just the cost-effective savings of it, and another thing is, you know, my children are trusting me that what I give them on the dinner table is good, healthy, real food. They're trusting me that I'm not poisoning them, I'm not jeopardizing their future in the things that I sit down and feed them at our dinner table. I can't exactly always go to the store and wind up with something that I'm confident is good food. Therefore, I've got to kind of call jurisdiction over that, and I've got to take that into my hands. The children right now are enjoying all sorts of different creatures in our homestead. They're finding a lot of lizards and frogs, some snakes.
I don't think I have it in here.
Just enjoying the real world. So if you guys saw the last video, you know, we had some rare experiences like peeking in an opossum's pouch. But check this out. Do you still got it in your hand?
No, she dropped. She's right there. This her and second this her.
They got a wolf spider with an egg sac. Red pepper was just hanging on to, and some little brown skinks. A couple of them there, huh?
Mm-hmm. We've got like
so what I'm doing at the moment is I actually got to get these red mulberry trees out of my garden area. I've changed my plan for them. There's 4 of them though here. That one's kind of little. Got a decent sized one down there, decent sized one here, and a little one over there, because the goats and stuff are reaching through the fence, nibbling them up. I'm gonna rip those out, and I'm gonna weed some of this golden raspberry area. These ones that are popping out way out here got to get put back in that section, and a lot of them that are leaning over have to get moved back. I'm pulling weeds from different areas, which I'm just going to dump those weeds in the pastures. I'm still at a stage where I'm trying to build these things up and get them growing, because we kind of took them down to almost nothing because we weren't rotationally grazing, we weren't having pastures built ahead of time, and we just kind of put the sheep somewhere, let them eat it to nothing, then build another pen and do the same thing. So I've got to be building up the pastures, so just adding stuff like that's going to help. Later we'll probably be composting them, and then if you check in there, we get night crawlers already, which means we may be fishing soon. So unfortunately, I wanted to do some of this transplanting, some of this pruning, some of these things, relocations before things woke up. I missed it. So I've got to do what I can right now to see what we can salvage. So here we go. Wow, that was a lot of work, guys. I worked up quite a sweat, and the moral of the story is plant trees where you want them to be. You know, that's it. Plant trees where you want them to be. I just wanted to get these out of 5-gallon buckets and have them planted somewhere. I originally came up with an idea where I was going to kind of espalier them, make them grow real nice and flat alongside this fence. But we've got a number of things that have changed since then. So here's what it looks like now. Now those 4 big trees are gone. I'm actually going to build a whole rock wall, I think, on this side still. Let all these golden raspberries run here. And now I've got these trees, which I've got to plant, which is not going to be fun because that requires digging. And anytime you're digging around here, it is an absolute pain. So I'm going to move those and figure it out. So in between meals, chores, and school, the children wanted to help out and pretty much do something that could generate a byproduct of Cool Creatures. So they've been working on this for a bit, picking up some of the rocks we had here from an old garden we're not going to use anymore, getting all these resources so we can move them up to the existing garden. And the whole time, whoa bugger, they've been finding some interesting creatures. So Buddy Pepper right now has a DeKay's brown snake, a small non-venomous snake that we can often find around our homestead. It's the second snake of the year. In December last year we found a speckled king snake, and then Monster Truck already found a rough green snake. So that DeKay snake is the second one of the year, but another cool one. Now this one here, oh, is that a broadhead skink? Some sort of decent skink Monster Truck caught. I don't think it's a 5-lined. Looks more like a broadhead maybe. They've also been getting a number of prairie lizards. That's a prairie lizard right there. That one is a beautiful male. Look at the color. Hold it real still so you can focus on it.
It's teal.
Yeah, so they call that one dragon. Mm-hmm. And it's just a beautiful male.
That one's cherry.
And then we got some, yeah, another one. Do you guys got the little brown skinks you can show me?
Oh, yeah. That one.
Little brown skinks. So long and slender, but it's a little brown skink. So these guys are very common. Oh! And they get all over the place around here. If you're walking by anywhere with dry leaves, you can usually hear them rustling, and they actually look quite a bit like the slender glass lizards, only that these guys have legs. There, Red Pepper has another one.
He's sleeping.
So, oh yeah. Prairie lizard on her shirt.
That one's spinning.
So, yeah, just a cool variety. And then we did find spring peeper and some cricket frogs too. So, pretty cool. Well, thankfully, with guys like that helping, it doesn't take as long to unload something like this. But it looked like so much here. And then you add to that pile. Hey, buddy. Good, get them up, pack them tight. You add to this pile, you make this row here as a border for that hugel mound. And wow, that only really goes 12, 13 feet. But then we'll just keep adding growing medium in here and continue to bring this down. The one up in the garden's already like 18 inches, probably shorter than it was last year when we built it. So we'll just keep bringing it around, give it a nice border, a good transition, and provide some extra stuff to keep it in there. Right now, I'm going to bring up a number of empty buckets so people can work on filling those with smaller rocks for our rock pillar fence build. I'm also going to take a number of these buckets that got soil in them, and I'm going to start adding those to the pastures. I'm not sure how deep I can go when I'm planting these mulberries, just because of how hard it is to dig. So I'm going to dig down as deep as I can, but then use some of that as like a fill to kind of berm up on top of them too, and maybe create kind of some little earth contours to help them make sure they're getting enough water when it rains and things. But I'm gonna load this up with empty buckets, buckets of soil, probably some buckets of rocks, and those trees. It's always such a long time consuming process to do anything, but that's because everything has a purpose and it's just shifting everything where it needs to be. But remember, plant trees where you want them, because it takes a lot of effort to move them. So while I work on this, those two little peppers are going to be breaking these mulleins down to save the seeds for another pasture. Give it a bust. So they've been working, getting all sorts of little seeds in there from these mullein plants. They send out a deep tap root. They provide a lot of biomass. See a lot of seeds in there. Oh, was he picking up all the moss? Bugger! Just let it go. Leave it be. And over here, Bugger, look at Papacito. No moss. I want you to take these, boy. Here, take this and go wiggle it in the bucket. Carry it nice and then put it upside down in the bucket and wiggle it. So they're doing some of that, and the sad part is, I mean, these trees came from right on the other side of this fence. We're gonna put them up here and make sure they get established. And originally I had planned on putting some swales across this thing, planting the fruit trees on the downhill side of that, but we can work around these if we need to later. I gotta run and pick up some pizzas because we're taking it easy tonight, and then get these other couple in. So we'll see what happens. Wiggle it, shake it. Bugger like this. You stick it in like this. Let go, you grab it tough. You do that, okay? Shake it like that. I'll get you some more, little guy. Okay, now throw it on the ground and take this one. Oh yeah, look at them pour out. Toss that one on the ground and shake that other one. There you go. Seeds are going like crazy. Okay. If you think that one's done, toss it out and I'll give you this one. Whoa, toss that one on the ground, get the new one. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Because you're only two, right, Bugger? But you know you can help.
A lot of stuff, too.
That's right. Seems to never be enough time in a day. So make sure you're planting trees where you want them. Alright guys, so a couple things. Number one, it is not ideal to move a living tree. Number two, it's not ideal to move them when they're starting to wake up for the year. Wanted to do all that before. I wish I would have planted them in the right place. Their permanent home didn't happen. Ideally, I would also be putting them in the pasture a little bit differently and creating some swales and stuff first. Not gonna happen. They'll still work out. I can still do some, you know, little mini berms and stuff like that. Help them out, they'll be good. Also, out in the pasture, they're gonna serve a number of purposes. So primarily, right now, we have sheep The sheep are going to be using the leaves of the mulberry plant as a fodder. Absolutely they will. We only have one goat at the moment, and when we get back into goats, we're probably going to go with Nigerian dwarfs. That said, they'll be eating off a lot of the lower ones and forcing the trees to grow up higher, which is fine. A couple things that's going to do is we're going to kind of keep them small enough that they make sense, but we are going to allow them to be a canopy for shade and then also a food source for us and for other things with the berries. That's all good. Mulberries you can often propagate from just a stick. Cut a scion off, cut a branch off, shove it in the dirt. If you keep it moist, it should grow roots and grow. We've grown a lot of them that way. So with these already having an established root system, I'm not quite as concerned about them not making it because they already have roots. So although I'm not doing things ideally, we are still going to, I believe, have a return on the investment of time and effort. This took a lot longer than I wanted to today, but I want to get that golden raspberry bed up and running the way it should be. I wanted to get those out of there. They're definitely a lot bigger than if I had just kept them in 5-gallon buckets, which is what I wanted. I wanted to be growing them and having a bigger bush, a bigger tree. So we'll see how that all happens. And then between where I planted them now and where they are, I do plan on building a full rock wall, probably about 4 feet tall, and I'm probably going to run a fence on each side of it and have the stones in the middle of it so it'll last a lot longer. Tomorrow I'm probably planting. The next day I'm probably going to go back to work after that long trip up to Michigan. So a lot of different things, but we're happy to be home. I'm back at work in the garden. We're doing a lot of stuff. The children are definitely enjoying all the creatures waking up for the ears, all the different herps, the reptiles and amphibians, and I'll probably just roll a little bit of footage of those guys before I end this, just because they're such cool creatures and they're all part of our organic pest control posse because they don't really pose a direct threat to any of our food sources, but they're going to be eating a lot of the things that could. So we're happy to establish different ecosystems and different kind of microclimates in different areas, you know, whether it's the bushes, the rocks, the ponds, the whatever we're putting in to attract and hold and give those creatures that are native here a place to live on our property even as we develop it, because we're developing it in a very labor intensive but also kind of a natural way, and I'm really looking forward to how things progress here over the years. So that'll be that, guys. I appreciate you watching. A lot of work. As I said, plant trees where you want them to be, because that was a lot of work. Don't put yourself through all that. All right, Papa out.